Alright, so I have a plant here I want to start a video on because I'm going to end up bringing this plant in for the winter. And it's probably not a good idea to do that with this particular variety of plant I'm about to talk about, but I don't have any more seeds left to it, and I really want to try to at least get one melon so I have some seeds for next year and that kind of a thing. So I'd be able to grow it again without having to go out of my way to buy the seeds again. So this plant is called the jelly melon. And you can probably see it right there. The jelly melon. Okay, and that is this little plant right here. Now this thing took a long time to establish itself, and it really didn't want to come up this year. It just stayed small for the longest time, and everything else around it exploded and grew up, and this plant just stayed a little weasel. But now that it's coming towards the end of the year, this vine is starting to grow and it's starting to pick up pace, and I really don't want to let it go. I do want to bring this in and attempt to grow this indoors, at least to some degree, and keep it alive, at least the rootstock part of it, and then plant it out in spring, and hopefully I can get some jelly melons and I can do a review on the jelly melon. Now I have grown this one year. I have grown it a few years, but the first year I grew it, put out like 2 or 3 melons, no big deal, didn't grow that good, blah, 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 blah. Then the next time I grew it was in my greenhouse, and the plant, the stem on it got as thick as my thumb. It was virtually impossible to rip the stems down at the end of the year because the whole stem was covered in like spines. It was one of the nastiest melons I ever, or cucumbers or whatever this thing is. It was one of the nastiest plants I ever grew. It was so nasty, I never grew it again, and that's why the seeds that I have to it are no good no more, because I just never grew it again. It was just such a nasty plant to deal with. But, you know, that was before I was making YouTube videos. So now that I'm making YouTube videos, I really want to visit this plant and review it and really kind of show you what it is, and you know, show you how to eat it. It's a very expensive fruit too, by the way. On the market, these melons can go $3 to $4 to $5 a piece for them, and they can get as big as your hand, and they got all these thorns on it. So we need to get to that fruit part, you know, that fruit stage part of it, so I can show you what it looks like and what it tastes like and things like that. So my objective today is to dig this up and remove it, and then put it in a pot, and then try to get it to not die and continue growing all the way up into the point where I can bring it indoors. So that's my goal for today. So let me dig this thing up and remove it, and then I will bring you right back. Alright, so here it is. I dug it out, and we're going to put it in this pot, and we are just going to hopefully see if it survives from the transplant, and just bring it in. Now, I am putting it in a kind of a small pot. That's what, maybe 1 quart, 2 quarts, something like that. It's kind of small. I'm not really looking to grow this plant so it gets huge through the winter. I just want to keep it alive through the winter and see if it survives the winter under artificial lights, and then in spring I can bring it out and then plant it outside, and hopefully it'll continue growing. I don't know. This is just an experiment. But I can't afford to put this into a larger pot like this one. It's just too big for me. I don't have room. I have more important plants to bring in, like peppers and tomatoes and things like that. I can't waste time with this. If I have to buy new seeds, I got to buy new seeds. But in any case, what we're going to do is we're just going to remove this plug. Now, I would never recommend doing this to any kind of cucurbit at all. Never try to dig up a cucurbit plant and try to replant it. It just, you will ruin that plant. It'll stunt or it'll die, and you're just not going to have any luck with it. Don't ever do that. This may not stunt or die. It may not live, and you know, it may have been a bad choice for me, but it's not going to produce fruit by the end of the year no matter what. So at least now I have a slight chance on possibly you know, keeping it alive and maybe getting some fruit out of it. So all I could say at this point right now is we'll keep you up to date. In the winter, I'll do another video on it and see how it's going along, and I'll kind of just keep you going with that blog and see how it survives in the winter under artificial lights, and then we will go from there. But basically, all I'm going to do here is just fill it with dirt, you know. I need 2 hands to do this because I got to make sure that this thing's, the thing on its level and everything. So I'll give you an update once we're down the road a little bit with this. I see it's starting to continue to grow and it's alive and stuff like that. We'll give you an update from there. All right, so like, share, and subscribe. See you on the next one.